Good morning, guys. It's like 8 o'clock, I think. Everyone is sleeping, but I'm up having a cup of coffee with oat milk. I like a good cup of coffee. I just can't really handle caffeine. So I try to drink decaf. If I do drink caffeinated, it's just like, 1 cup, and it has to be early in the morning. For the past few months, 2 or 3 months exactly, I've been hanging out in the Dakotas. This is a dollar horse. I actually live in a Scandinavian area when I'm out here. And this is actually an old Scandinavian house. In the bottom, they keep supplies, and in the top, that's where they have their living quarters. Just look at the beautiful woodwork on here and ironwork. It's absolutely gorgeous. We have the stairs that go up. And this is a little cabin. This is a beautiful Scandinavian area. There's a Viking church in the distance. Again, you can see the dollar horse. So I've just been spending time out in the Dakotas, baking cookies, making nice food, sewing quilts and my own clothes. A lot of domestic things, reading books, relaxing, contemplating life, baking forest cookies, and I will put the recipe in the description below. Having nice cups of coffee, warm cups of tea, and just spending a lot of time alone. I also love to spend time outdoors, so as you can see, during this winter time, I did some exploring. I was searching for birds. I found some really large bird tracks, and I was trying to figure out what that was. It turned out to be a wild turkey. After I got through hanging around in the Dakotas, I hopped on a plane and headed out to Las Vegas to spend some time with part of my family and just kind of look around and have a nice time. So here you can see the beautiful golden shiny buildings of Las Vegas, Nevada. We had a couple of cloudy days, but they were still really nice. As you can see, we didn't have to wear too warm of clothing. And this is just us at the container park. We're just walking around having a nice time. And so now, as you can see by all the forestry and greens, I am back in the northwest rainforest of Washington State. And I'm just hanging out with another section of my family, and I will be out here for quite some time. Not sure of the exact time, maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I'll also be heading up to Canada, to British Columbia for a while. So today I'm going to try and work with my 2 youngest kids, building some type of garden out in the back. I've noticed that it's really hard for boomers to be able to talk to, the Zoomers and what's the other generation? What is the other generation? Well, I can't remember the generation that's between the Zoomers and the boomers, but there are 4 generations in my family with my kids. I'm a boomer. My oldest daughter is a something. My middle child is a different something, and my youngest child is a Zoomer. I don't know. I have been having generational issues communicating with them as far as my opinions on what's happening in the world right now and how to prepare for it. My hopes and expectations are high for our future, and we have the ability to have a fantastic world, but we also have a repetitive history of catastrophe, war, genocide, deception, poisonous foods, things like that, throughout the world in our history, right? History repeats itself, and in my opinion, as a boomer, we really should consider preparing just in case. It doesn't hurt to prepare. It's better to prepare anyway, because even if we don't have a severe food shortage, or we get in an actual nuclear war with China or Russia or both, it's just best to know what to do. And it's best to get prepared food and water wise and medicine wise. So it's so easy to, look back at your life and say, oh, everything's always been kind of the same. There's always been enough. This is America, or this is Canada. We're going to be fine. But everyone has always felt that way before they got hit with a disaster. So you can't just go through life feeling like you'll never be hit with war, or you'll never be hit with severe famine or recession or depression, right? That makes no sense. So my hope is that we're going to have a beautiful future, but I would not want to be unprepared in case we don't. So I'm trying to help my kids as best I can. My oldest daughter doesn't hear me. There's nothing I can do, so I stay silent about all of it now with her. My middle child doesn't hear me, so I stay silent with her now as well. Because it caused a lot of discord in the family, and I don't want discord. I don't want division. All I can do is, live my life by example for them and try my best in discreet ways that don't offend them to try to help them. So that's what I'm doing. My youngest child is understanding and open and realizes the potential for, being prepared just in case, but she doesn't know how to do it. And her partner doesn't know how to do that either. They're very stuck in their habits, and they don't have anything to compare their lifestyle to right now, so it's difficult. And Generation Z, the Zoomers, are very used to being attached to electronics and fast food and junk food and not doing a lot of physical labor. So they don't find value or comfort or feelings of satisfaction by going out and digging dirt for hours and planting seeds, or pulling weeds, or clearing out clutter in the garage to make room for other things. So this has been my challenge. But I'm just going to continue and have them watch me and help me a little bit if they can, because I want to have them at least minimally prepared. So my goal today is to hopefully have them help me, but I can do this myself, is to find a piece of earth in the back that I can disturb with seeds without having anybody be upset with my putting the seeds there. So I'm going to scout around today. Last night I prepared pumpkin pie. So I was able to save quite a few summer squash seeds and quite a few pepper seeds and some onion roots. So I'm going to plant those today. I did get the kids bags of rice and bags of flour, canned beans and things like that, but not a lot. So before I leave this area, I would like to at least buy the kids 6 months worth of rice and flour and canned foods. Just basic stuff. I don't have the money to put in for fancy things. It's just basic survival food. So, and water. You can buy large jugs from the Walmart store for about $6 or $7, 5-gallon water jugs. And there's like a hand pump, plastic hand pump that you can get. I am in the northwest rainforest right now. I'm in a small town near Seattle, and I will be here until I get ready to go, which means I'm working on minimalizing my items from the storage and moving some into the house, and starting a garden and getting some supplies for the kids, and doing a couple of doctor's appointments. So I went in for my cancer check. I waited 10 months because I was busy traveling around all over the place. And the doctor said to make sure that I come in once every 6 months. I haven't had my results yet, but I personally am feeling okay, so I'm not expecting any negative results. I'd like to take the kids foraging in the forest because I feel that we're really not taught a lot about the natural medicines and the natural fungus, the natural leaves and roots that we can use that are in our area. So I'd like to take the kids out into the forest so we can find some mushrooms and pine needles, pine sap, maybe different kinds of plants that we can use. I am not an expert on it, but I do know a few, and it's very fun to go out looking for those things and to make teas and things like that. Maybe a forest with living water. And I call lakes and rivers that are clean living water. Any kind of water that hasn't been fully polluted, that is moving, I feel is living water. Because the water that we use now, a lot of times, unless you have a well on your property, is old used water with chemicals in it, dirt, prescription medication, urine, all of that goes through water treatment plants and is, sanitized to the best of their ability and then given back to us to drink and bathe in. I don't feel like that's living water. And actually, there was a time about 22 years ago when I was running around with the Native Americans, and I did the sun dance out in Pipestone, Minnesota. I wore moccasins. I slept out on the grass. I did sweat lodge. I bathed in the rivers and in quarries. And when I was bathing in rivers, and I also went up to Michigan, so I bathed in all of the lakes, the Great Lakes up there, except for Lake Superior. Lake Superior was too cold. It was painful. It was so cold. It was so painful. I couldn't get past my ankles and I had to get out right away. But all of the other rivers in Minnesota I bathed in. And I can tell you that when you bathe in living water, you feel amazing. You feel energized and happy and alive. It's so much different than taking a bath or a shower in dead water. And we're drinking dead water. And when we buy, bottled water, we buy the spring water, it's probably better, but it's been sitting in plastic. So we're getting those, tiny pieces of plastic or whatever leaches out of the plastic in our system. And that water hasn't been moving. It may have been sitting in those bottles for quite some time. So, that's not living water either, right? It's probably better than the tap water.
or even filtered tap water, but you know. Also, I'm trying to help the kids eat better. So, eating living things, natural things, things with no GMO, trying to stay away from sugars. I just made the kids homemade crackers yesterday out of organic flour, cheddar cheese, and a few spices. And like I said, I made a pumpkin Thai curry, which I will put the link for the recipe in the description below so you guys can make that if you like. And I'm just trying to help the kids get off of the junk food. And actually, if you stop eating fast food and junk food, your body will stop craving it, and also it will save you over $1,000 a month. Between two people, it's so easy to spend $1,000 a month or more on fast food. And so I'll be taking you up to Canada with me, and we're going to tour around. We're hoping to get out to Victoria Island, hoping to get out to Bouchard Gardens on Easter. So cross your fingers that that happens. Thanks for coming today, guys. I hope you have the most fantastic day, week, month, and year. Bye.